it's attempting to try and solve an identified problem that everyone agrees is a problem without actually solving it and not addressing the central issue of inequality in the game. All the clubs outside the Premier League should just not apply to the just not compete in the FA Cup.
Yeah. Let's go to the Europa Conference League. Lille 2, Aston Villa 1. Villa 1, 4-3 on penalties. All sort of pretty straightforward stuff, really. Apart from, we all learned something last night, didn't we? We all learned that yellow cards don't carry on over into penalty shootouts. And why did we learn this, Peter?
Because Emi Martinez is a sledging shit.
I mean, I cannot get enough of it.
He actually got booked in the penalty shootout for saying to the referee, "Give me the ball, I'll fuck it.
Give me the
ball. Give me the ball. I'll put it down my pants."
I just think that the French must be like, him.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
There's going to be a new raft of French philosophers coming out who are really depressed all the time.
Which is also
it's going to be fantastic.
It's an amazing juxtaposition for the French history as well there, but also the fact that the Lille goalkeeper is called Lucas Chevalier.
Oh.
He sounds like he will come in and be very, very like honourable and steal the honour back and fight the good fight for the good rather than the evil. And they got beat again.
Yeah, the bad guy won.
Satan.
I just love it. I love it so much. But when it went to penalties, I was like, oh, okay, penalty. Hang on.
Yeah.
He's involved. I was just messaging everybody, stop what you're doing. Emi Martinez is about to be involved in another penalty.
Emi's doing his thing again.
Oh, but like it was the first penalty. He saves it, which is brilliant, and then shushes everybody. If you haven't seen it, for crying out loud, I bet it nearly causes a riot. It's like kicking off on the sideline.
He goes big very, very early.
Because he knew Andy. He knew he was going to win.
Although
it's Arnold Schwarzenegger in World's Strongest Man. He phones his mum the night before, says, "I've won the competition."
Yeah,
outrageous.
Also, though, I think he does it without looking at the pre-planned semi-final draw, because all through that, I was like, I can't wait for you to try this away at Fenerbahce or Olympiakos in the next round. But you know, Olympiakos, as it turns out.
This could be his Sistine Chapel. This could be him.
But Olympiakos, he would be well excited about causing some ruckus there, right? He'll be so excited to do that.
Because it's not that hard to cause it.
When you said Arnold Schwarzenegger, do you mean Mr. Universe?
Mr. Universe.
I don't think he was in World's Strongest Man on Channel 5, was he?
I hope not.
That would have been brilliant if he was.
He could have been.
Narrated by James Richardson.
Thank you for the correction there. People would have tweeted.
They would have.
They would have.
Pete's got a big theory about strong men. In the 80s, they just blokes who could eat the most.
They just did a big breakfast, didn't they? It's Big Daddy, wasn't it?
Fat blokes, weren't they?
Fat blokes, yeah.
In this country.
I have 17 sides of bacon and 5 glasses of milk.
All right, lad, you want to lift this car?
And I put all the bins out in the street.
Yeah.
No, you are
right. Where did Clive go? He died at 42. Well, what's a surprise?
By the way, also, Andy, this won't be a surprise to you because nothing about European football is a surprise to you, of course. But for those of us who don't partake as much, who perhaps just dip one's toe and paddle occasionally in the warm waters of European football rather than scuba dive down to 100 feet and whatever.
So let's passively enjoy it rather than rolling it up and smoking it.
Very interesting to see Nabil Bentaleb involved. And just 29 as well.
Well, I think that's the underrated thing about Martinez doing what he did, because when Bentaleb misses his penalty, the first one that he saves, Bentaleb crashes it into the stand in anger and nearly hits Martinez in the face with it.
There we go. So
he has to duck and
that would have been
action.
a bit of playground justice. I mean, again, if you haven't seen it, the referee then books Emi Martinez, who already had a booking, obviously, during the game. And I was, oh my goodness, is he off? And it was a bit of confusion. And we all later found out that Law 10 of the iFabulous rules, that any yellow card is wiped off at the start of a shootout.
Do you reckon?
Which nobody knew, let's be honest.
Would he get it? Would he have got it in the ear, the referee?
He probably would have, because the players wouldn't have known that.
You can give him one.
Do you reckon Martinez knows? Martinez probably knew.
Well, to the point of the commentary team said, one of them suggested, did Douglas Luiz go up to the referee and try and get it rescinded? Like, as in say, don't book him. And then they thought, maybe he was just doing it as a warning. But no, he got a yellow card.
Well, presumably Douglas Luiz was the first up there because he knew he was going to be in goal if Martinez.
Also, to be absolutely fair, the great leveller here is the comms was Dempo. Who is an absolute maniac.
Yeah.
And he has no filter, which is crazy for a live broadcaster.
Yeah, I mean, he's not sort of.
He announced loudly during that no one in the world knew why that Martinez wasn't on the pitch. It's like we're still on the pitch. It's like, well, you kind of should know.
I was going to say, a member of IFAB probably have an idea.
And it's such a niche rule, though, isn't it?
I don't blame them for not knowing. I'm just saying that was to the level of confusion. Is the commentary team didn't.
But Dempo then further compound. I like Dempo. I think he's got a lot of.
Not as much as Andy loves.
He's the greatest.
Andy loves Dempo.
Yeah.
Andy used to get him his can of Coke and his apple for his broadcast.
Was it not like a can of Coke and Turkish Delight?
Was it? What was it?
Was it not that, Andy?
It's not Turkish Delight.
No, there was something.
That's a bit of an Everest, isn't it?
There was something odd. It was a can of
The
Coke.
Ice
and
Queen in
something.
Narnia.
Yeah. There was some strange other item.
Was there?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to think on that.
The one that Andy always tells me is that Dempo always requires a can of Coke and an apple before he does a comms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Full fat Coke.
Full cut Coke. But at the end of the penalty competition,
Yes.
when Martinez makes the final save,
Yeah.
which ends the competition,
Which
right?
wins it.
Yeah. Dempo screamed. Because there was a bit of confusion about whether the referee was going to allow the save or not. He just screamed, "The goal stands!" when it wasn't a goal. It was a penalty save, and it made me quite confused, even though I just seen it in front of with my own eyes.
I like it.
I love the fact that Emi Martinez, he did that little sort of shaky celebration, that sort of shuddery thing he does. I don't know. He's like the Judder man.
Yeah.
And,
what a reference that is.
Yeah, I tell you what, you've got to beware of him.
Yeah.
And
you're
he sort
in
of
the year 2000. Those of you listening who are still in the year 2000, be careful.
The Judder man still stalks.
Watch out for your Furby.
Uh-huh.
Your Judder man.
For those of you in the year 2000, stay there.
Yeah.
It doesn't get much better.
Yeah.
Do remember to feed your Tamagotchi.
It's all gone downhill. Look at Pete.
So anyway, but Aston Villa reached their first major European semi-final since 1982. Incredible. We can't forget that in all this.
And they huffed and puffed in the game itself.
They were a
didn't
bit fortunate, really.
It felt like
Lille were really good for a lot of this.
they were, and we'll probably come on to this a bit with Liverpool in a minute as well. But it felt to me, just watching it, as it's coming towards the end of a really long season now. But I know Lille are fourth in Ligue 1 and they're having a fairly good season. I don't know how good they are though. And Andy, when we have these conversations on the show about English teams against European teams, you end up just talking about budgets and how it's a disgrace that Premier League teams don't win every single game.
Well, particularly in this
is that the case? Is that the case here? Should Villa have had enough easily to get past Lille, or was it?
I wouldn't say easily. Lille are really, really good this season.
Yeah.
And I said before the start of the round, forget the name. This is a much, much harder tie than Ajax, and that's exactly what it proved.
Would you fancy Villa in the competition? I mean, obviously you've got Fiorentina are in there, and you mentioned Olympiacos.
Yeah, I think it'll be a Villa Fiorentina final, and Villa will win.
Right, and who's going to wear the away kit? That would be the big question.
Yeah.
Well, West Ham themselves, they drew 1-1 with Bayer Leverkusen because Leverkusen will just not be beaten, and they go out 3-1 on Ag.
Shame.
Oh, but Peter,
They were robust.
they
The
were.
referees were robust too.
Mikel
And
Antonio quite wonderfully said it was 14 against 11 because he included the assistants. We often hear it.
massive.
12 against 11.
That,
Very
sounds like
inclusive,
that
yeah.
feels like a fine.
He's got a podcast career ahead of him, that fella. Does feel like a fine, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I just thought that they were really, really strong. They really took the game to Leverkusen, and obviously they just started to tire at the end. But
Bowen's
such a
chance.
shame, yeah.
Yeah.
And
That was
it
the
must
one,
be,
wasn't it? Yeah.
We've spoken about West Ham quite a lot this season, and just that I think the way that the media kind of portrays West Ham fans as being ungrateful. If they can play like that in every game, like
To be
by the end of
clear,
the
though,
season,
in sort of recent memory, they have betrayed themselves as quite ungrateful. But I suppose
It's like, on Christmas morning, if you throw the present your parents got you across the room, you can't then say the media are portraying me as ungrateful.
yeah, okay, right.
I think you're right. I think
No,
that-
we did a really nuanced take on West Ham. This is what
Yeah.
you're talking
That
about.
doesn't sound like us, but yeah.
No, we'll ruin
Yeah.
it now. I'll ruin it now by fucking them over.
Yeah. No, you are right, and I think that.
But if they can play like that, I mean, it was exactly the way. If you're going to go out of Europe in anywhere, that's the way to do it.
Well, the fact that they
laid
applauded,
gloves
didn't they?
on 'em. Yeah.
When Bayer Leverkusen scored very late on, there was
what you want,
there
innit?
was applause, and I think that was a nice moment because, as you say, I think a lot of people have been telling West Ham fans what they should be grateful for and not grateful for.
Yes.
And also in the last few seasons with the whole stadium move and all the controversy and so on surrounding the owners, yeah, of course, joking aside, it hasn't been as particularly great, but. Under David Moyes, there have been highs. The trophy win, obviously, and this one again. They've gone out to possibly the most talked about, or one of the most talked about sides in Europe this season.
And they really rattled them in that. I was there, and they were visibly rattled in the first.
But was there an
half
understanding from West Ham fans? You think that they knew that Bayer Leverkusen was such a good team?
Yeah, I think they did. But they
were dominating the first leg, weren't they?
Yeah, but they had every chance in the first half. Like West Ham really went at it, and the atmosphere in the stadium, which is really hard to get up and keep up.
Yeah.
Because it's such a big stadium, they kept it going for most of the night. But second half, it was quite difficult because Leverkusen or Alonso made some quite decisive changes. They kept the ball much better, and they took a lot of the sting out of it.
And they're a bit fortunate with the goal of deflection, of course. But
in the end they were.
They will find a way not to lose because that is their unbeaten run up to 44 games now. So again, to sit here and say, well, West Ham, why didn't you beat a side who'd gone 43 games unbeaten before you? It might be.
Exactly
It's
right.
a tall order.
They couldn't have done much different.
No, and
over the two legs.
Kudus was good, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he's really good.
He held up the ball beautifully.
He's brilliant anyway.
It was. I mean, if Bowen scored that chance, obviously it's level and there's still a lot more to play. So you're into chaos theory.
But with the atmosphere being what it was,
but he was good. Obviously, his assist for Antonio and so on. But look, they gave a great.
It makes me sick.
Like it,
break. Go to break.
End the show.
Ad break.
End it. End the whole thing.
Can't get any better from there.
No.
Well, what did you make of Liverpool?
Well, it can get better because I've got a little joke.
Which is what all the best comedians do.
Yeah.
to get cracking.
I've seen Jimmy Carr's Netflix. I'm about to be outrageous.
Okay.
My
mother-in-law.
Just like I said to my neighbour who refuses to own a pair of bathroom blinds, I saw a little bit too much of Alison. But they spent most of their time passing back to Alison, and you're not going to win football matches like that.
Oh, it's good.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
the door to the weekend is open.
It's great. But
I can
do you know
do
what
it.
annoys me?
I just don't do it.
11 p.m. last night, I was up on the sofa trying to think of something to say about this game. There's no point now, is there?
Oh, Peter.
It was a real weird little kind of performance from Liverpool, wasn't it?
Hey, a win on the road's always good, though, isn't it?
Are we thinking that there's a chance the wheels are coming off here now?
Oh, yeah, they're off.
You reckon?
People are sort of saying, is it pressure for giving Klopp his final hurrah, or is it just like, well, we don't know what's happening next season?
I think it's because Mo Salah can't score goals unless it's from the penalty spot.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about that Bowen missed chance. That one, what was it, 5 minutes before the end of the first half? It bounced like it's just
the lob that went miles wide.
It's like, it was.
And it went miles wide.
Yeah, but that's so unlike him.
It is, totally, you're
These
right.
last few games are really unlike him, and that is such a... It was obvious. The way the ball sits up, the way the keeper comes out, your decision is made for you. And if he lifts it and it bounces and it hits the bar or something like that, okay, well, it's still the same result. It's not a goal. But it just showed you the lack of confidence or whatever's going on.
But the situation... I completely agree with you, but the situation is that the die is cast from the first leg. And what tends to happen... So Miguel Delaney said during the game it felt like Liverpool were going through the motions of how they usually play but seemed to have forgotten how to do it. And I don't disagree with that. I get the take. But to me, it also looked a bit like you get into a situation where you try... Because if you're 2-0 down from the first leg, you probably say, okay, 0-0. We're Liverpool at 0-0 in the second leg at half-time. We're in the tie still. We can start to kind of turn the screw. 3-0, it's such a mountain to climb. It felt to me that that chance that Salah had that you guys have talked about there where he puts it miles wide, everything's just trying a bit hard. Everything needs to happen. There's no room for error. You know when you're in on goal, when Salah's in on goal like that and they are flying in the Premier League and he's got however many goals under his belt in the last few games, it happens without even thinking about it.
But he hasn't done. Look at Manchester United.
But he doesn't. He hasn't, exactly. Yeah. And he also knows that, this is a chance and there's no room for error here. I need to score.
Exactly. It's tension. It's not technique.
Yeah,
because
tension, exactly.
I think subconsciously, there's so much left in the rest of the season. So you go into the away game 3-0 down from the home leg. You're Liverpool, so you're capable of turning it round. But it's going to take something...
But they get the early goal.
But it's going to take something absolutely huge. And do you really have it in you, knowing that, actually, we'd really like to win the Europa League, but we really, really want to win the Premier League? So are you mentally capable of giving it all that? I mean, it's quite interesting because of what happened and the way that Arsenal and Liverpool exited European competition this week. I think we're back, especially with what happened last weekend in the Premier League, to thinking, oh, it's just a Man City possession now. Whereas I wonder what we should really be taking from this European week is Manchester City can play really well and still not win a game.
Yeah.
So
Well, specifically against Real Madrid.
The title race is still well alive.
But Marcus
alive.
was spot on Wednesday when he said that, the credit for that, referencing Man City, goes to Ancelotti for getting that team of superstars who've won it all, and they're either really exciting young players who are brilliant or they're old hands who've won it all, to get them to play like that.
Well, it was Vish who said that, but I did agree with him.
The Vish is here and he's running scared for me and Jack's encyclopedia Andy. So no, he's not going to get any credit.
But Real Madrid do that like quite a lot.
But
and
when
they've done that quite a lot under Ancelotti.
But Andy,
and I don't think it was a tactic or a choice.
Yeah, but Andy,
it was just
your point of that Man City, can still sort of not win games. Again, it took Real Madrid and all their star quality to sit so deep behind the ball, and they didn't lose, they got a draw. So this idea that the process is here, I honestly think Liverpool this season, they went above expectation thus far. They're not going to get anything at Craven Cottage on the weekend.
Sure.
So I think that you saw the way in that League Cup final, which was a wonderful win, and Klopp said, this is the best or the most enjoyable trophy win or whatever. That could be it for them. This season. And
I think this is well premature.
Oh, it probably is it for them though, Andy, isn't it? Because they're in a really terrible run of form. Even though they won the game last night, Atalanta were able to manage it, and Gasperini, as loads of people have said, is an amazing coach, and he'd have been very comfortable with all that. Before that, they haven't won their last three, and so it's
and the manner of it all as well.
It's a terrible time to have this wobble. If they go to Craven Cottage on Sunday,
well, if they turn up,
even if they bother.
Yeah.
It's still a sensational position to be in that I wouldn't have imagined at this point in the season.
Absolutely right, and no one's saying it would be a bad season for him to finish on if they don't win the Premier League. I absolutely not.
But
saying
why
that.
would you even think like that? Yeah, if from a Liverpool perspective, why would you even think, if we don't win the league?
But I'm not saying it I'm saying from my perspective. I don't think they're going to go and win in the league now.
We'll see.
Every chance.
We'll see.
Every chance.
But look, Gasperini's done an amazing job at Atalanta in this competition, right? They've looked really impressive.
First European semi in God knows how long.
Yeah, exactly.
We should say that.
And he hasn't won a huge lot as a coach, right? He's won like a couple of cups, and that's
So he's won a Hearts.
Oh, okay,
mainly.
Right.
Yeah, he's a bit of a Bielsa type figure, if you see what I mean, although he's not referenced by Guardiola.
But when Andy just then said he's won our Hearts, I thought you said he's won at Hearts.
Yeah.
I remember Hearts.
I was about to say, well, I think you'll find.
No, he hasn't.
Marcus.
Don't take that away from Jim Jeffries, for crying out loud.
What's Big Jim done to get straight on this show today?
Exactly, yeah. And who would have thought he'd get a mention?
Yeah.
So, but let me say for the record, by the way, that's not what I want to happen. It would be amazing to see Klopp and that big grin, proper big grin, one last time. But I just think that this wobble has happened at the wrong time of Man City, certainly in regards to the Premier League, specifically the Premier League. They're in the ascendancy. But anyway.
And all I'm saying to you guys is don't write off the best title race in several generations because it ain't over yet.
Yeah.
It ain't, well, I'm not counting Arsenal out of it.
Yeah.
Or am I? Or because they're doing that. Yeah. Right, let's move on to the FA Cup. Coventry City are playing Manchester United.
And it's been such a good week of football in Europe that this has crept up on me a wee bit.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's great to have.
Isn't it a lovely when the FA Cup creeps up on you?
And then you've got a fixture like this. I mean, it's a fantastic fixture.
I mean, I read this in the running order and I thought, Speller and his retro references.
Yeah.
But it's an actual fixture.
Well, Andy,
can it not be both?
And Andy, the old references will stop after this one. Did you see that one of the national newspapers had a little interview with Keith Houchin?
Nice.
Yes.
If you don't know who Keith Houchin is, you should do by now because he's been referenced on the show.
He's one of our Patreon members.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, he's not been.
Hartlepool United Patreon member.
Yeah,
indeed. He's not been paying attention though because he did say, I don't watch that much football these days, but I know Coventry are doing really, really well. I sort of keep up with them, but Manchester United, they're a bit patchy at the moment, aren't they? And I was like, yes, they are, Keith. Yes, they are.
You watch enough to know that, do you, Keith?
I've heard Manchester United.
Yeah.
Yes, Coventry back in the semi-finals of the FA Cup for the second time in history. The first time since they won it, of course, in 1987 at the old Wembley. They're going to be at the new Wembley this time. I like the semi-finals being at Wembley. Up yours, everybody.
No, you've talked about this before. I found it boring then. I find it quite boring now. I don't think there's necessarily any real imperative to discuss it again.
Fine.
When we can talk about the fact that this is absolutely ideal for Coventry. So, for me, when you look at a team getting into a semi-final, anyone who gets to a semi-final of any competition, they've got a chance, right? They're in the conversation. Mm-hmm. The last four of a competition, you've got a chance. If they had come up against anyone else in this last 4, I would have said to you on this show, there's no chance.
Even against Chelsea?
No chance. The thing is, the way Manchester United play, I'm obviously not saying it's going to happen, but the way Manchester United play at the moment leaves a lot of room for something crazy to happen. What we've talked about with Man United over the last however many months, possibly for the whole season, is yes, they get out of games and they win them. And if you're doing this show, you're on the Friday, you're like, right, Man United could lose this weekend, every single weekend. And on Monday, when they win, you're like, oh, that's weird, they won. They could definitely lose this game against Coventry because they play in a way that leaves a lot of room for Coventry to be able to do their thing. If you're a team in a cup competition who goes into the semi-final and you are giving away 25 shots a game, don't be surprised if something crazy happens and people are talking about the magic of the cup on Monday morning, because this is eminently possible.
Yeah, I get the impression that you quite like to see Coventry City win.
I would absolutely love it.
Yeah,
and I haven't kept quiet up to now.
the only question would be is that who would wear the away kit in the final, them or Man City?
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah, no, it'll be because what's going to happen is the FA Cup final will be Coventry City against Cole Palmer on his own.
Yeah.
And he's gonna, and he probably wins.
Is that a fair fight?
Yeah.
Well, Coventry 8th in the Championship at the moment. They're 8 points off the playoffs with a game in hand. They've lost the last couple of games, but still,
But they should have a lot of belief in this competition, particularly as they got past Wolves.
That was incredible,
and the way they did it,
incredible.
There'll be the situation they're in the league will be, of course, they want to be promoted out of the Championship into the Premier League. They've come close to that in recent seasons. The statistics will tell you that looks unlikely to happen because they're, whatever it is, 8 points off it. I think they've got a game in hand, but they're not going to get into the playoffs probably. So this is their priority.
But you have to say as well, they've done remarkably well to stay competitive because, of course, they lost Victor Gyökeres last summer, who went to Sporting and has been one of the best strikers in Europe and will end up at a Premier League club for a lot of money this summer.
Yeah.
And he's basically irreplaceable.
Yeah.
So for them to still be competitive this season, and then when you go back a couple of years and you look at everything they went through, everything those fans went through with the stadium and all the rest of it.
Everything Richard Keys went through as well, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Coventry's most famous son.
It's good to see them back in a good place.
Yeah. It is, Andy. It is. Manchester United, are they in a good place? I mean, Luke's talked about it there, but off the pitch, because apparently Alejandro Garnacho was spoken to by Erik Ten Hag about the tweets he liked, which were criticising the substitution of young Alejandro last week against Bournemouth. He removed his likes on the 2 posts, by the way, which the club believes shows contrition. Steve Bruce.
What are we doing? At no point does anyone in the Man United hierarchy just go, what are we doing here?
Just say, literally, this is you saying sorry for something.
Yeah.
That's the noise of contrition. It's hardly cutting your hair off, is it?
Ten Hag's looking over his shoulder. And the other one.
Well, apparently that's your burner account.
You just got Ten Hag'd.
Steve Bruce has come to Alejandro Garnacho's defence.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I do have very large fingers, and sometimes you can press the wrong one.
He said about Ten Hag's comments towards Garnacho, he said they were a bit unfair.
Right.
And he said Garnacho...
Is that leaping to someone's defence?
Well, he did say...
Come on now, that's a bit unfair.
Well, I bet Alejandro was like, God, thank God I got Brucey in my corner.
God.
Yeah. He's fuming.
Oh, dear. Paul Scholes was fuming with Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho last week, though. Manchester United posted a picture of the pair of them training in the rain at Carrington with waterproof coats with their hoods up.
Yeah. Have you ever trained in the rain?
To be fair, on social media, I've seen photos of Paul Scholes walking around the Asda in Oldham looking fuming.
Was he biting people on the...
He wasn't doing the toenails.
No,
not in Asda.
No.
He got his willy out.
He did.
Unintentionally.
Well,
we should make it clear. And it was on the pitch, not in Asda.
He could have worn a chastity belt to prevent, or cup.
A chastity belt.
But no, he wanted everyone
or
to see it.
cycling
He's
shorts.
a sex person.
First of all, Pete, but as Marcus has made it clear, not in Asda.
Not in Asda.
Secondly, I'd like you to reword that because the way you said it was like he made a conscious decision to get his willy out.
That's what I'm saying. That's
it was
exactly
removed
what I'm saying.
for him, wasn't it?
He's
It was
problem.
removed for him.
Whoops. It was Janet Jackson. It was Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he
To
didn't
be
have a
fair, he
little
was
metal
marking
star.
Justin Timberlake at a corner. And these things do happen.
Yeah, just popped out.
If I don't wear this and I go and tackle like this, then this will happen.
Do you not remember the post-match interview of Ferguson where he said it was a wardrobe malfunction, Jeff?
Yeah, exactly. I would say that I agree with him though, because I mean, Paul Scholes is Mr. Awareness, isn't he?
Mr. Scan.
That was Mr. Scan.
Yeah.
People are obsessed with scans at the moment.
Yeah.
Look at this video. This player does a scan there, then another scan there, and then he's won the match with all of the scans. He's done more scans than
like you
everyone
scan in
else.
your neighbour's bathroom.
Exactly. Yeah. Or Golden Scans. A great song by the Claxons.
Oh,
You're not on Absolute Radio now, Pete.
Now, Paul Scholes reposted the photo and he said, "Don't mind hats and gloves, but no way can you train properly with your hood up. Standards begin on the training pitch. Bye."
You don't have to say bye at the end of a tweet.
I'd like. It's polite, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like
Bye.
Garnacho needs to learn a
Warm
lesson.
regards.
Rooney-esque.
PS.
Yeah, but if he really wanted to be polite, he'd have said hello at the start.
To be fair, warm regards PS is quite confusing, isn't it?
Can you do it like the guy from the Snake from The Simpsons? Just say the last word. Like,
Bye.
it makes it better.
Yeah,
See ya.
Yeah, but what Paul? So this photo, if people haven't seen it, it's exactly as Marcus described it there. But a lot of the controversy around it is that it was from I think the official Manchester United Instagram account or Twitter account, whatever. And what people were saying was actually they're just standing around, waiting for the next instructions for the next drill or whatever. So they've got their hoods up because it's raining.
Yeah.
I think we're all hoping for a Coventry City win, quite frankly.
I just think it would be an amazing.
Would you like
story.
to see another Manchester final?
Not really.
No.
No.
Anybody
No
want
one
to see
wants
that?
Nah.
No. Okay.
Well, can I answer that by telling you I remember absolutely nothing about last season's FA Cup final? Does that answer its own story?
Didn't Man City win it?
I think they might have done,
It was a
yeah.
treble or something.
They don't have to mention
Who
it.
knows? Who knows? I mean, to be fair, it was just last season and it was historic. So
Yeah.
get off their back.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Okay.
Yeah.
They've got 115 things on their back.
I
Okay?
I thought they were incredible.
They were. Now, before we go for a break, a reminder that you can sign up for the Football Ramble Patreon for as little as $5 a month. You'll get ad-free episodes of the Ramble, OTC and Upfront, as well as an extended version of every Wednesday Ramble and access to our Discord server. Joe was one of the latest to join the Football Ramble Discord on Tuesday night, and his first message was this. Man United fan here. Well, apologies, Joe, for that last bit. Been meaning to log into the Discord for months. Finally got round to it today and managed to miss 2 Champions League goals and a red card in the time it took me to set it up.
That's the spirit.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't take a long time. I think those things happen in quick succession.
Depends how good you are on computers, I guess.
That's true.
Donny will help you.
When you're trying to do 2
imagining-
things at once.
I'm imagining Man City's Joe
Yeah.
in my mind.
Right.
Just checking in.
Could
Oh,
have been.
yeah.
I've already got Man United.
What about Joe Biden? He would take
What
a while
about
to
Joe
kind
Biden?
of work the server.
What
I
about
think.
him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got some stuff on Joe Biden you want to do? Or?
I really want him to win.
I think it's imperative
when
that he
when
wins.
all said and done, for the sake of every single person on the planet,
Yeah.
without getting political.
America.
Well, I have got political.
America, we've got kids.
Yeah.
A lot of us, everyone in the studio has got kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously. If you want to miss more football and politics, presumably, then head to patreon.com/Football Ramble to sign up for just $5 a month. You see, I'm trying to get them back on side there.
It's good, actually. Yeah, use their currency. That'll make them happy.
Yeah, and the accent.
And you've contributed quite a lot to the demise of the United States by doing your Donald Trump impression, which people have gone, oh, he sounds funny, actually. I'll probably vote for him
I'll
now.
go back in.
That's fake news.
All right.
Nick Hewer there, everyone.
Something I mentioned just before we started was Rick Edwards on 5 Live this morning. He went from World War III, the Israel-Iran new conflict that we didn't know we needed, into a pun about more salad cream.
Yeah.
And I think that shows the deft touch of that man.
Yeah. He can change speed very
He can
well.
change speed
In
very
a way
well.
that you on Absolute Radio, you can go from, a phone in like, why don't you like me?
Yeah,
to a big
Here's
burp
the
on the
Killers.
mic.
Yeah,
to
to Who's the Killers?
Here's somebody told me by the Killers.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Okay.
Coming up next, coming up after the news, we've got Norfolk's youngest butcher.
Coming up in the second half, we have the other FA Cup semi-final. We've got a big match down the bottom of the Premier League and some Portsmouth and Southampton chat. Wonder how that'll go.
I
See
think
you
I'll
in a
enjoy
moment.
some of that.
Can it be ACDC? It is.
Welcome back to the Football Ramble, everybody. If you haven't seen the clip of Ali McCoist at the Allianz Arena enjoying Hell's Bells by AC/DC, you're missing out, quite frankly. Now then, everybody, Manchester City are playing Chelsea in an FA Cup semi-final tomorrow at 5:15. Chelsea haven't beaten Manchester City since the Champions League final in 2021, so they save it for the big occasions, Andy Brassel. Do you give them and Cole Palmer a chance?
No, not really.
Oh.
No.
Not even after they drew 4-4 earlier in the season? which would be enough to take it to penalties. And recency bias suggests that Chelsea have a chance.
If Cole Palmer
maybe.
could take every penalty.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that would be something, wouldn't it? I still think it's an enormous gap to bridge. And of course, once teams have gone out of Europe, and we've been talking about that from the way that we've been talking about Liverpool, the way we've been talking about Arsenal to a lesser extent in the last couple of days, we're all expecting a massive hangover. What if Man City and Arsenal and Liverpool just came out this weekend and thought, right, we're not having this anymore, and just get stuck in? Because I know, obviously, Chelsea were excellent on Monday, albeit against Everton. Once you get past all the penalty fluff, it's very, very encouraging for Chelsea. But still, Manchester City is a huge, huge challenge.
But you heard it here first.
But they've got to lift. They've got to lift themselves after what happened in midweek, and the momentum is a big thing in football. And we talked about this in the context of Liverpool in the first half. Like, Chelsea have definitely got the ability on their day to be decent. They're just not decent anywhere near often enough.
Yeah.
Man City are a better team than Chelsea. Everyone knows that. But I don't think it means Chelsea don't have a chance.
I didn't say they don't have a chance. I said I don't think they'll win.
You said not really when he asked if they had a chance. You said not really.
We can play it back if you want, Andy.
Yeah. You said not
Rewind
really.
the tape. They don't lose a lot of matches in.
Ask me if I like Andy.
Do you like Andy?
Not really.
I
didn't say no.
Yeah.
Did I?
No, you didn't.
Look, when Pete asks, it's the precursor to a full vote.
Oh dear. Well, it is a tall order for Chelsea, but of course it won't be easy for Manchester City either. Now, did you see that the official Champions League account shared a video of Jude Bellingham walking around the Manchester City crest printed on the floor of the tunnel at the Etihad with the caption "Respect" and a fist emoji?
You see, this shows how much he's adapted to Spanish life. Because I don't think English players normally would even think about that.
No.
It's just a carpet, whereas that is a really big deal if you're in Spain to not walk over the crest of an opposing club.
Don't put it on the floor.
Yes.
Don't
Yeah, why they put it on the floor then?
Don't put them on the floor.
Well, exactly.
Are you saying that in Spain they wouldn't have, say, like a Real Madrid crest doormat or something like that, like we do here? Because that is quite an odd thing if people have.
But that's the juxtaposition that these clubs have the mat, but you can't walk over the crest. So, say Luis Suarez, for example, when he's playing for Barcelona, and I think it's fair to say, one of the most disrespectful people to ever have played football.
He had a hood.
We've seen footage of him before, like really inching round the edge of a carpet so as not to walk over the crest.
Hot lava.
Yeah. Why don't they make?
His
They should
floor is lava.
Put a massive one there, so the away team just simply can't come out.
Yeah, and they get injuries
it's on
trying to
them.
contort their bodies
Oh,
around it. Yeah,
It's 3 minutes past kickoff. We've got the points.
it's all a bit using the right fork in a nice restaurant, isn't it? It's all a bit like.
How do you
it's
feel
just
about that,
a-
Peter?
I just strap them all together and just use the same jabbing kind of implement for each round.
And who do you target first?
For those of you who are going into a nice restaurant or a nice function and you've got loads of cutlery there, you're not sure what to do, just always remember this one thing. It's inside out.
Inside out, yeah.
Go start on the inside and work your
Start
way
with a
up.
spoon as well. They expect you to start with a spoon, whatever you're eating. Steak.
Bring your own pusher if you
Yeah.
if you're familiar with that. I know it's. I would be quite happy to see more disrespect in football.
But
there we
it's
are.
good to know, Andy. I genuinely didn't know that was a thing in Spain. I just thought it was the official Champions League account being odd, trying to think of something to use as content. I thought it was one of those kind of touch of class things.
Maximum respect.
Well, it is that
tell
as
you.
well.
Now, on the subject of the FA Cup, though, we go all the way back there. It is official from next season. There will no longer be any FA Cup replays from the first round onwards. First round.
Marcus, don't worry. That money that they're going to ring fence will trickle down like a lovely waterfall of doubloons into the coffers of his lower league side.
See how how rich everyone is.
That's true.
guys.
When's
don't
it?
worry about
I sometimes wake up in the morning, look at the football headlines, and the first thing I think to myself is,
All that
when's
money.
this trickle down money going to stop?
I know.
It's becoming a waterfall.
It's like
Yeah.
in society, though, isn't it? I mean, apparently London's got so many billionaires.
Too much money.
And I tell you what, I wake up and I'm up to my armpits in notes.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
From your wife. Say do some fucking work.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, to be fair.
You better be back at 11.
They're all saying the same thing. And none of them have the king's head on them.
I mean, this joking aside, this is a disaster. It's a disastrous policy.
But from the
it's attempting what it's attempted to do, which has happened in so much of football administration now, is that it's attempting to try and solve an identified problem that everyone agrees is a problem without actually solving it and kind of pushing it further down the line, making excuses for it, and not addressing the central issue of inequality in the game. I saw someone yesterday saying that what should happen here is that all the clubs outside the Premier League should just not apply to just not compete in the FA Cup next season. And see how much money you get then, and see if you like it until they change the policy.
But the level of mutinous feeling is such that that will almost certainly be threatened. You feel?
I think it should be.
The way that clubs have
so
come out and talked about it, EFL clubs have come out and talked about it. You know, the level of outrage is palpable.
It's not. If you're just going to mess around with such an illustrious history competition, then clubs have every right to sort of go, well, this isn't competition that means anything anymore, so we're not going to bother. We could do without it.
And they what it also means, obviously, for those people who haven't kind of thought about that, carefully or read the news or whatever, the most devastating thing will be the absence of a lower league team being able to achieve a replay back at a big club's ground, and the money that comes from it, and also obviously getting people through the gate for a big team.
And the experience for the players, it's a great moment in your career, isn't it? From
didn't Burton Albion build an entire stand from money they had away at Man United? I think
there's been several stories. I haven't got the detail in front of me where there's been teams who have had their budgets for the next 3-4 years on one FA Cup game in the past. And here's the thing. The Premier League and the decision makers at the top of it will not be happy until they just won't give a shit if the only teams in England are the Premier League teams, right? It's phenomenal.
The FA have a bit of say here, and that's the disappointing thing.
But they've sold the farm. They sold the
but not with regards to they could have done something more. I understand they're under a lot of pressure, but for crying out loud,
what else could they have done?
Well,
they're just being strong-armed at every turn.
Well, they could have tweaked a few things. I mean, they've taken away the winter break as well from the Premier League, because they're going to say, I think it's, from the fourth, fifth, and quarter-final rounds, or we could call it the sixth round. There's going to be no Premier League action on those days, apparently. And so, therefore, they take away the winter break as well, which, obviously a bit sort of, what's that been around since about 2020 or something like that. So there's been a few little tweaks here and there. But I understand that you want the rules the same across the board. But I mean, even like having replays in the first two rounds, do you know what I mean? Like, why take them away from?
It doesn't affect those clubs, does it?
It doesn't. No. That to me is absolute madness. That's almost like cruel. And also, again, this is not ideal. But if you're the FA, at least to try and appease the EFL clubs, if you think it's inevitable that the Premier League are going to strong arm them, keep the replays in the first two rounds, and also keep replays in games that don't involve Premier League teams. I know that would be a bit odd, but if you've got two Premier League teams that could both agree,
but you already have inequality with VAR at some games and
exactly,
and not others. So it's far from ideal. I mean, the extraordinary thing is, of course, to take it back to its most base point, is the fact that the clubs protesting against having to play replays are the ones who can cope with it the most, because they've got absolutely massive squads.
And we also need to mention that the part of the reason that EFL clubs are annoyed is because there was also no consultation.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
So they're not even being asked about
Presented
it.
as a fair company.
I don't want to play in a replay. To fucking beat them the first time, then, dickhead.
Yeah.
There is an option.
I think from EPPP onwards, the decision making has been entirely dominated by the power of the Premier League. And the FA, way back in the day, they let a wolf in sheep's clothing into their offices, and were sold a load of promises, some of which have come true about the quality of the football in this country and the players that are produced.
It's not been all bad.
You have to be honest. Yeah, but the rest of it's been an absolute fucking disaster. If you don't want to take anyone's word for it, look at the amount of clubs in financial peril.
Renationalise the Premier League.
Yeah, I think they should boycott the FA Cup. I do.
And Thames Water.
Yeah, don't bring them into it now. Bloody hell!
I thought I was on a roll there. I was on my soapbox. It's my Friday as well. Anyway, let's talk about the Premier League, shall we? After slagging them off, Everton versus Nottingham Forest, the points deduction derby.
Yeah,
a huge 6-pointer.
Could be any
I was
amount,
about
really.
to say,
could be 3, could be 9.
Yeah, I was going to say. Since the start of last season, Everton have the worst home record in the league, and Nottingham Forest have the worst away record in the league. So are we looking at a 0-0 draw here? Now, Dice Out was trending on X after the Chelsea game.
I don't think it takes much to trend on X nowadays, or does it?
Well, I mean, they've won 2 league games in the last 16 outings.
They've been poor.
Both against Burnley, by the way.
Yeah.
The Dice effect.
Yeah.
They have been. I think the points deduction, and then they got a few results sort of immediately after the points deduction, if my mind, the first one, and it seemed to sort of have a galvanising effect. And obviously people would say, well, of course, if you took the points deduction away, obviously they'd be further up the table. That's how it works. But Andy, they have been very poor.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think Everton are a little bit like Brentford in that you can often get to be watching their games and thinking, yeah, they're not bad actually. And then you look at the results.
Well, I mean, yeah, results-wise, they are where they are.
Yeah,
for crying out loud, and they need to start picking up wins because they are just 2 points above the relegation zone. Yes, they have a game in hand, but you wouldn't put it past them to not win that one as well. But 6-0 against Chelsea, a damning loss.
We're on the kind of dice out thing, which I didn't see actually trending, but I'll obviously take your word for it. It's not surprising, having said what we've said, that and what James Tarkowski came out and said after the game as well, that fans are going to be annoyed at that. They're going to have travelled all the way to London on a Monday night. It was nowhere near it where they needed to be. Dyche said himself, we're miles off it, absolutely miles off it, and it's not acceptable. And there's also a feeling, I think, among a lot of football fans, most football fans, if not all of them actually, where you can accept losing a game, but it's getting the basics right and competing, and especially given how kind of hot and cold Chelsea have blown this season as well. They were just knocked over pretty easily. So given the position they're in, given the kind of travails Everton fans have had generally in the last however many years, it's kind of understandable they're lashing out.
And it's a big game as well because Luton play Brentford as well.
Oh yeah.
So it's all happening down there. So it is a chance for some. I know. I think with Brentford 7 points above the relegation zone, they and Luton, who would be the only ones realistically, could
it's
catch
one from three now, and Everton and Nottingham Forest are 2 of those 3.
Yeah, I think Brentford have done enough with a win and 3 draws in their last 4 games. They've shown a bit there.
Yeah, and I think realistically, if you get to 34 points, you're gonna be saved.
But that's the whole problem with this season. You don't know what the number is.
I think
because of the points deductions.
But that's true. But also, Andy, the one thing that kind of confuses whole thing on the bottom of the Premier League is that really Sheffield United have been gone for ages, and Burnley are basically gone.
Yeah.
So you're talking about one team left. There's only one spot left.
Andy, when you say that you don't know the points tally, I do agree with you. However, when Fulham moved up to 42 points last time with that victory, I was like, yes, not going down.
It hasn't been 40 for years.
I know it hasn't, Luke, but I can still celebrate, can't I?
Still a magic number.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't love a magic number? Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of Luton, Kenilworth Road was finally added to the EAFC game this week. It was the only Premier League ground that hadn't been added.
What, because of the redevelopment?
Because of your comments about it, Andy.
Just in time for them to go down again.
Keep it off my polygons. Yeah, it's an interesting kind of move because surely they should have programmed it in. They should have built it, surely. No?
Yeah, they should have.
Must have had it ready. Why is it only appearing at the end of the season?
I don't know.
Outrageous.
But also, it's not a very big one. It wouldn't take long to do it.
Just it's still one of those FIFA Street backgrounds.
Yeah.
It's an old garage, isn't it? It's an old car park.
Yeah, it was already in the game.
There's a bin on fire.
It was officially opened by on the game by Andrew Tate and Tommy Robinson as well. They played a game. They played a game between each other.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Ended up having a big fight.
Speaking of terrible people, let's talk about Portsmouth. Now, obviously, they are reversing up the Pompey Highway. Championship football beckons. They host Wigan on Saturday, which will no doubt be a big old party. Luke Moore, are you attending?
I'm not attending.
We've seen that O'Neill's in Portsmouth. Well, it don't need a bigger party than that.
Big old party. John Mourinho's also had to put a video out addressing Pompey fans.
Not another one.
Saying, please don't get on the pitch on Saturday because if you do, the EFL won't let us lift the trophy.
Right, okay.
And he's trying to say that you all have had the pitch when it happened earlier in the week.
You've had your fun.
You've had your moment.
Yeah.
Can we have our moment?
Is he the one who I saw his anus on Instagram?
He's the manager, Pete. So
oh, right, okay. I just wondered
but it is the EFL. It's worth
with the caveat, I don't know what account you follow on Instagram.
Yeah, true.
He's been DMing.
Is this about your neighbour again?
It was an astonishing party in O'Neill's, I thought.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was good.
And that's really that you got to understand people that when people criticise that kind of thing, they don't really understand the culture of the place. And I'm fed up of tourists going to far-flung places with their white saviour syndrome and not understanding how things are done.
Get that whip out.
In certain parts of the UK.
Yeah, well, some of the players on BBC Radio Solent couldn't contain their excitement, it's fair to say, which again talks about the culture of the place and so on. Yeah. And here's a little sample.
Congratulations, what does it mean to be League One champion?
Yeah, it means everything. It's fucking, I mean, look at it, it's fucking brilliant. Shocks, the main man fucking loves scoring, sorry for swearing.
Congratulations, you're a League One champion.
Thank you, fucking means a lot, man. From day one, it's fucking, I can't keep swearing.
This was everything I've wanted. Fucking love you! I weren't fucking leaving this club without it, to be honest with you. So happy. I knew I could do it as soon as I came, and I put absolutely everything into it. I'm actually fucking proud of myself. I'm just so happy. Well, apologise for the swearing. Right, it's been fucking amazing. Paddy Lane's covered in champagne as well, I think. Paddy, congratulations, you're a title winner.
Thank you. Don't feel real at the minute. Are you live?
We're live.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
It's like
Fantastic scenes.
They invite Rage Against the Machine on 5 Live, and what do they get?
If that hasn't what,
They're obviously on the they all meant to do that, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
If that hasn't won over a load of
Yeah.
new Pompey
Yeah.
fans, I don't know what will.
No, exactly.
Was Sean Ryder involved there?
Yeah.
Stop interviewing them. Stop interviewing them.
From now on.
Pete.
After 3, you're like,
Yeah.
right.
No,
they're trying to get
no.
one over us on the, let's stop interviewing them.
This
Shut
one,
them down.
this one will be all right.
The authorities, because of this, actually, the authorities have decided from now on in English football, all our title wins have to be pre-recorded.
They do.
But
Right,
I've-
conspiracy theorists.
I haven't had a
You on the
chance-
South Coast. Everything's preordained.
I haven't had a chance to talk about it on the show yet, have I? But
No.
it's an amazing thing. Obviously, it's been massive for the City. The team have done so well. They struggled in that league for a long time, and they also had some quite difficult headwinds as well with injuries and stuff.
Well, that's a little island, right?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of wind. There was actually a lot of wind down there. And then the way that Mourinho's coming in, like massive, not just him actually, but Rich Hughes and the guys at the club, they've massively upped the level in everything they've done, and they've dominated that division. Like, they've absolutely dominated.
They have.
There's a little wobble over Christmas, but they've been top for so long, and for them to get it over the line is massive for the club and for the town. And I would also just say though, speaking of John Mouricio putting out messages about players not got on the pitch, he also gave an interview saying that Portsmouth's record points total, I think, is 98 points, which was in 02-03. I think it's 98, it might be 97. And Pompey have got 94 at the moment, and if they win the last 2 games, they get 100 points. And he said, look, I've spoken to the players, and we'd really love for the fans to get 100 points for the first time in our history. And you could just tell his heart
like,
wanted
come on,
it.
lads.
Because he also followed that by saying, I've given them about 3 days off this week.
Yeah.
We've all seen the footage of what they've been up to. I would not be that convinced they're going to be able to do that, but who cares?
But it's a good time for the South Coast. Obviously, Brighton have been playing some good stuff. Pompey on their way up, and Southampton could be as well. They could be playing Premier League next season.
Stay in the Championship, you cowards. Face us. Face us.
Not running away.
Yeah.
They should be by rights going, right, Pompey are up, we've got to stay here.
Yeah.
They should be. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. And,
Anyway.
and they'll get all the trickle down as well.
They will.
Yeah.
We all get all the trickle down.
Dean Smith also says you're an encyclopedia of football.
A what?
An encyclopedia of football.
I don't know what that means.
That's right, Finn. You hand out those bits of paper.
Yeah,
You having a good
'em.
time?
We need them.
Yeah. You excited for the match, Finn?
Yeah.
The big ding dong.
I've been
The
slacking
big
you off.
Jackson encyclopedia.
Leave him alone.
Oh, you're a big man. You're having a go at what someone hasn't got a mic. Can you ever go at me?
I don't know what. I wanted him to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he does write all of the answers, so if you want to complain to him.
So not only bullying him without a mic, throwing him under the bus as well.
Correctly, yeah, but it's a bus of truth.
Yeah.
In many ways.
You didn't know that Maggie the Magpie was an actual Newcastle mascot.
I forget things, and also I don't care.
And I was wrong.
Right, kicking off with you, Andy Brassel. Let's do it. All right, that's fine.
No, it's all right. Your marks is
all right.
like, it's all part of the game, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's all part of the game.
Do you know what? The thing I like about it was when he used to do this stuff when he was winning, it was quite endearing.
Yeah.
No,
When he's losing,
no, it's just a bit tragic, isn't
it's
it?
like watching Esso throw a oil in the sea.
It's like to see a 50-year-old boxer trying to call out a heavyweight champion so I can still beat you.
It's like watching Manchester United.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
But before we do start, I would like to say that at the West Ham match last night, I was on my way out, and a listener called Greg came up to me and wished me good luck for Jack's Encyclopedia tomorrow.
Okay.
Maybe be a lucky charm.
I'm going to need it.
Yeah.
Andy, we're going to kick things off with you.
Okay.
Players to have scored 50 Premier League goals for either Manchester City or Chelsea.
Ooh.
Players to have scored 50 Premier League goals for either Manchester City or Chelsea.
Sergio Aguero.
I'm not even looking at my list.
Yeah. Frank Lampard.
Frank Lampard.
I suddenly worried.
Some low-hanging
He did say
fruit.
Chelsea, didn't he?
This is, sorry, just to confirm, this is Chelsea or Man City?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Erling Haaland must be in there.
Erling Haaland is in there. 56 goals.
Didier Drogba.
104.
David Silva.
David Silva, 60 goals.
Diego Costa?
52 goals.
Just in
I
there.
like it.
Surprised. Oh, he's borderline.
There's a lot borderline, isn't there?
Yeah. Go on, play the music. I've always wanted to give an answer during the music, so I'm going to go Arjen Robben.
I don't.
You can't have done that.
You cocky prick. Marcus Speller? Delicious.
Suddenly, the
Neville the cunt.
Yaya Toure.
Oh, good.
This could be.
He's in there. He's in there. He's borderline, but he is in there. Lucky Moore?
Raheem Sterling.
Surely.
Raheem Sterling is in there. 91 goals.
Yeah. He's been there for ages.
91.
I just love how pilloried that man is, and he's such a prolific footballer. Marcus?
What have I got? Kevin De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne. He's got a 67 goals.
That was my last one, you bastard.
Sorry, bruv.
You bastard.
Bastard.
Very modern footballers. A lot of them.
This is a flyer, an absolute flyer.
All right.
But I'm going to, and it's hard to think given how bad he is at finishing now. Gabriel Jesus.
Lucky Moore? Shake my hand. 58.
Well done.
Well done.
Well done.
It's a good round. Marcus.
Gianfranco Zola.
Oh.
59.
Very
Correct.
good.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be it, I think, for me. I think that's a lot. I think that's me up the stairs to bed.
Cup of warm milk.
For a lovely night. Vivaldi on the iPod Touch. Bernardo Silva.
Oh! Mate, I thought you had that.
I thought you had that as well.
Well, he must be close.
He must be close.
I was going to go Phil Foden, but he's probably not either.
Congratulations, Marcus.
Thank you.
You've got through this round. You could have had Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, 69 goals. Raheem Sterling was obviously in there with 91 that Lip got.
John Terry, I reckon, scored over 50 for Chelsea.
Oh, well, you're wrong. I had a good Johnson.
In all comps.
Just take your fucking point and move on, you boring bastard.
I had a good Johnson. Edin Dzeko at 50. He was very much the borderline of the borderline choice. Carlos Tevez, 58 as well.
Tevez!
Tevez.
Oh, Carlos.
Foden's on 49.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Blimey.
Bernardo only got 39.
Okay.
There we go. All right, next round, and we're going to start things off with you, Marcus. The 15 outfield players who have played the most minutes in the Premier League this season. Outfield boys with their tired old knees.
Flipping Nora. Bruno Fernandes.
Oh.
He always plays.
He always plays, and he's up there, 2,790 minutes. I'm not going to do the minutes, but yeah, correct.
I just try to think of players who always play.
Players gonna play.
I'm literally saying him because I mentioned him earlier and I feel like he always plays. James Tarkowski.
Oh, good
Well,
one.
you're right. Everton.
I know who he
You knew
plays
that.
for. Yeah.
2,879 lovely minutes.
Liverpool-based centre-backs. It's got to be Virgil van Dijk, surely.
He's not in there, Andy. You've had a stinker.
Blimey.
He doesn't always play, Andy.
Blimey
Doesn't always
O'Reilly.
play.
I've got some flyers on there.
I'm going to go Fulham. Anthony Robinson.
Yeah, he always plays. He was on my...
Anthony Robinson. Yes,
Plays
he
every
is. He's in there.
Yeah.
He's in there.
Lovely.
Well done.
I'll go for the other Bruno Guimaraes.
He's in there. He's a mainstay. A
He's
necessary mainstay.
He is a mainstay.
He plays for Newcastle, Luke.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for that. Thanks for the reminder.
I reckon Ben Mee plays all the time for Brentford.
Good shout.
Ben Mee isn't in my beautiful list.
Oh dear.
So I need to get one.
You do?
Yeah.
I've got two more.
You can do
I'll
it.
go for Jared Bowen. Always picked. Yeah.
You're in there.
Oh,
Congratulations,
fair play,
Lukey Moore.
fair play.
Could have had Dominic Solanke at Bournemouth, Morgan Gibbs-White, Semedo, Watkins. Ollie Watkins. Is in that position, you don't always see that.
Crystal Palace's Joachim Anderson always plays as well.
Yeah. Yes, he's in there. Max Kilman, Saliba, and Turek Mitchell for Palace as well.
Saliba's that's a surprise one.
Fair
All
play.
right.
Fair play.
All right, then. Next round, kicking off with you, Lukey Moore. Teams that Erling Haaland has scored against this season.
Ooh.
Teams that Erling Haaland has scored against this season.
Jesus, man.
There's a lot of them.
And he hasn't done it for a
He hasn't
while.
that for ages,
Hasn't
which
done it
makes
for
it
a while,
harder.
yeah.
Does it count? Does internationals count as well?
No, yes, internationals do count.
Okay. I remember. God, this is guessing work. Luton.
Luton, he has scored against Luton.
Burnley.
Burnley, correct. Yep.
Could be getting confused with last season. Fulham.
Yes.
Relatively
Correct.
safe bet.
Yeah.
Up yours.
I remember, I'm pretty sure, him scoring in the international break against Cyprus.
Ooh.
I like it.
Yeah.
Georgia.
Georgia.
Nice. Chelsea?
Chelsea. Correct.
Fucking hell.
It's Torres to give Chelsea.
Forest.
He's in there.
Well
He's
played.
in there.
Brentford.
I like this round. Correct.
Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Has he scored a goal, Peter, this season against Everton?
He has.
Yeah. That's a very safe bet, isn't it? You could rename this one to which teams are shit.
Manchester United.
He's done just that.
Newcastle United.
Newcastle United.
Ooh.
First to go, first to blink.
Sorry about that.
So if I win this one, I've won it again.
Come on,
haven't I?
Andy.
Yeah.
Come on, do it for Greg and me.
I'm going to go for your friend and mine, the aforementioned West Ham United.
Correct. You got that one. Andy, let's have one from you then.
Oh, I'm Benjamin Andre against Emi Martinez. Tottenham.
Martinez is fucking his glove.
Yes!
Oh, man.
That was hard one.
That was hard one.
It's a tough one.
Could have had Copenhagen, you could have had Crystal Palace, you could have had Liverpool, RB Leipzig, and also Young Boys.
I didn't think of any European club team.
Young Boys.
I knew he didn't
Keep
score
doing it.
against Real Madrid.
Keep doing it.
Young Boys.
Oh, no.
Marcus, would you like
Luke-
to pass your congratulations on to me?
Well played, sir.
Thank you very much.
Well played, sir. Look,
Yeah.
I'm going to open the keys to the weekend.
Young Boy, get out of mine. My love for you is way out of line.
Thank you for listening to the Football Ramble preview show sponsored
You're
by...
much too young, boy. Thank you for watching a clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an upload. A single upload. Don't miss out on the uploads. The uploads are important.